Hope it was Bar here to review the Rider Time Kamen Rider Geo vs. Kamen Rider Decade. The 7 Geos. DX K-Touch21. So, obviously to commemorate, one half of that gimmick of that series is that obviously it's half its Geo, half of its Decade, except for the fact Decade versus Geo didn't get anything because this thing should have been set up in that special, but it wasn't. Obviously this is the neofied, updated version of the K-Touch, obviously originally from Decade. As you can see from here, this is all the content. I don't have the individual box because, yep, we fell this low. We got a set. Why? Because I was forced to. So, the way I got the K-Touch21 is that Team Rider, or Team Kamen Rider, was able to do a Blu-ray, a US release on this set with the K-Touch21 individually and this set by itself. Obviously, I was forced to get the set because they weren't going to re-release the Neo Deca driver by itself. So, as you can see from here, it does keep the same packaging scheme that the original Deca driver had. It's just now lazily extended because of a box for the K-Touch21, and now it's credited under Geo vs. Decade and Decade vs. Geo. I think the crediting for Decade vs. Geo is only for the Deca driver itself because this thing doesn't even show up in that special at all. So here we have Decade on the right, Complete 21 on the left. This thing is beautiful. False advertising on the top because these cards are included in the DN driver. Okay, so here we have Grand Geo and Decade Complete 21. I get why they included Grand Geo. Then we have 01 and 02. And then the back, I really like the back overall, which is, I'm really disappointed that I can't get the original boxes and such, because this one's different compared to the other ones, and I apologize for this. But here we have all the final forms of Kuga through 01 and such, because I think the original one, the original K-Touch21, I think that one also had the final forms? I don't think so. It clearly didn't, because the original box of the Deca driver had all the Heisei riders, and I think the K-Touch21 only had the final forms for the the front row and such, or just the primary or the main forms again. I'm pretty sure it's only this version that only has the final forms as a whole. Please do not force me to buy sets. So back to here. The contents include the K-Touch21 itself, and it's 21, not 21. The Deca driver adapter piece for when you obviously transform into complete form. Then you get 5 ride cards, or 5 common ride cards. I don't think the complete ones are common ride cards, but basically, we get the 2 for the K-Touch and then 3 new cards for the sake of Complete 21. So anyways, taking a look at the K-Touch21, it's the same mold from the original one from 2009, and I don't know when the Super Best one got released. I didn't know there was a Super Best version until recently, last year. So, The color scheme is neat. I kind of prefer this color scheme over the original like Neo Deca driver, just because I think the gray and magenta work really well together. Then we got black on the inside and then the green gem. We got K-Touch, but obviously now we got a 21 on the side because obviously 21, 20 Heisei Riders plus 01. Then we got these things here. Then we got speaker holes there. That's where you're going to insert the card. The 2 battery compartments. This requires 2 AAA batteries. This button here is for taking it out of the Deca driver. And as you can see, it's the same molding, but just, you know, nothing important. On-off switch here. And this is where you do that. As I forgot to turn that off and such. So this is where you're going to touch. Obviously, it's called the K-Touch. This is where you're going to do everything. Obviously, this is supposed to be like a PDA of some kind. Or like I think they want it to be a phone. But I think it's more supposed to be like just like a PDA. Anyways, when we switch it on, K-Touch21, we get the announcement of the device itself, which is new for Decade. Also, I just really like, this one has a lot better speaker than the majority of the toys. And as you can see, just like, you know, to be drastically different from like all the stuff we typically had. Oh, this one actually is yellow LEDs instead of red, which I actually kind of prefer. As you previously saw me, if when you touch this without putting the card in, you just get a light pattern, and it's different for all 12 of these dots. And they actually did increase it to be 12 because previously with the original K-Touch, these 2 weren't pressable, but now they actually light up. And like, you kind of have to like put pressure down when you press it. You can't just like lightly slide your hand through and such. Obviously the CSM version of the K-Touch improved on this, but you can't. You have to like hold your finger down for it to register. And it, you know, to know where to press, there is a small grid, which is kind of hard to see. You can see the top part up here, but other than that, this grid, there is a grid, but it's kind of hard to actually capture it on camera. This is kind of the best. Other than that, yeah, that's basically all this can do. You can, again, clip that in, but it's not supposed to go. It's not for this. It's just that it has the same clip. So let's take a look at the ride cards. So the first card we look at is the complete form card, which luckily this one actually gets included. And this one's like a complete redo, or this one completely redoes how the original one is was originally done, because this one is actually given a more cleaner look. And I really do like the gimmick that these cards give off, just because of the fact when you flip them around, they're actually credit cards. So I find that to be really interesting. So this will not be compatible with the Deca driver because it'll just air out, but it's pretty funny that this is a credit card. Well, as you can see here, we got Deca in complete form, 2000 through 2009, Masquerade Decade. I think this is supposed to be like the date or the year of for Decade. I don't know. I don't know what the 08/09 is supposed to be. But we got the rider symbols of Kuga through Kiva, and then we got the F and C. And obviously, as you can see, my hand goes through Decade complete. As you can see, there's a divot on the top. And then we have a Decade Complete 21, which is a complete redeco of the original one. As you can see, this still has the same applications. There we have Decade Complete 21, 2009 through 2020, Masquerade Decade. Now we got a chip inside this card. And the same back specifications. So this one surprisingly is yellow. So now it's, which is interesting. because now this is technically a final attack ride card, but it's a common ride card, so that's interesting. But I really do like the colors of this. I like the blue. This one has a bottom dent. Next up, we got our ride cards. So, our only common ride card, 01. Obviously, because he wasn't existent during Geo. I really like how they made this consistent. And then 01's rider symbol. Really like it overall. Going off of 01, we got 02, which again, like, I really like how these two cards work. These two really look really good. It's also probably because they actually use like Bandai official pictures and not toy. I mean, they're both toy, but see, like, if Putotira got his own rider symbol, I kind of wish 02 did too. It's kind of bothersome that they didn't change it here. Last but not least, we got Grand Geo, because obviously Grand Geo wasn't included, but then the DN driver, sadly. So we finally got it here. And again, it's pretty consistent with BIOS. I don't know what I just said there. So we're going to take the Deca driver just to show how this is supposed to be done. So we'll just clip this in right away. So obviously, to transform into complete form, take the ride card like so and slot in the slot. I apologize that you can't really see the symbols. Let's do that again. Alright, so it does that animation when you don't press any of the rider symbols, so let's just press F. It just does that, and when you press C, it resets it, because this is the cancel. And then when you hold any symbol down,
3, 2, 1.
The camera really doesn't like focusing on this. Obviously, to transform into complete form, simply press the rider symbols of all 9 Heisei riders, so obviously Kuya through Kiva. Obviously, you don't have to go through that order as long as you press these 9, but obviously, for the sake of this, we're going to go in order. So do that, and obviously to finish it off, press the Decade rider symbol. So yeah, there we have the transformation of our Decade complete form, which is pretty cool. I really do like the new light animations they have done because of the fact that these two now have LEDs. So obviously, to give the belt the new look, simply, slot this piece to the side. You're going to open up the Deca driver, remove the Deca driver lens, and then slot it into this side panel, like so. And then you're simply going to slot the K-Touch to the front, like so. So now we have the K-Touch within the Deca driver, and let me properly actually loop the back, so then you can actually see the full look of how this is supposed to look, despite the fact this is too early to do this, but I don't want to do this again, so we're just going to simply remove that, remove this, and then there. So obviously the main gimmick after transforming is that by pressing any 9 of these riders, you get to summon them and such. So obviously, we will do the ones he've actually have done, because obviously I'm not going to do them all. So, what? It was Ryuki.
Kamen Rider. Ryuki survive.
I'm sorry. So obviously you press, like, you know, I'll tell you. So you press, like, if let's say Fies, it will announce it, and then you press the F to summon.
Kamen Rider. Blaster form.
And then this last one we would do Kabuto.
Kabuto. Kamen Rider. Hyper form.
Actually, the last one we were going to do is that, because obviously you were originally not able to do this before, but now you can. If you press a Decade, and then summon.
Kamen Rider. Complete form.
So yeah, Tsukasa can just constantly keep summoning himself, which is pretty funny. And then on this side, obviously how this will originally be done is that he will use the Final Form Ride card and slot it into the side like so.
Finally attack Rider.
But now you need to press this buckle down to here. And the thing is that you need to hold it down, because the moment you let go, it's going to just, you know, act like you opened it. Because obviously when you press it down, that's acting like it's closing. So if, you know, if you press it, it's not going to count and such. So let's just say we want to, you know, again, like do Final Attack Red Ryuki. And if we just press it, it's not going to count it. So, this just functions the same, it's just that it's under a different mean. A weird mean, but it's really interesting. So, that's basically all I'm going to show within this card. Because when we use the complete 21 card, luckily that time it actually cooperated. For some reason with mine, for this card, sometimes it'll bug out and only like this column will light up, and then these 3 will. But I also really like this 5 they incorporated. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a 5. I think it's neat. Obviously, this card is made for this because obviously the fact it's all yellow and such. So, obviously it's the same process of transforming. It's just now you have to do more, and you finish it off with the F now instead of, you know, the Decade, because there's not enough symbols. Speaking of the F, nothing. So let's do the transformation again. You can't cancel, so just hold it down. That's what kind of sucks, but anyways. Again, you're gonna do the same pattern, double through 0, 1. It's just that, so down, down 3, right, left, right, left, right, left, middle, down. So, again, press the F. So yeah, again, just plop it back in the driver like so. and have this obviously on standby. So yeah, it's basically the same gimmick. So if you were to like summon like fours and press the F.
Kamen Rider. Cosmic Stays.
Obviously, all of these final form sounds are from this toy. So if we were to use
Exade. Kamen Rider. Muteki Gamer.
obviously though, we do have two new announcements.
G.O. Kamen Rider. Grand G.O. Zero One. Kamen Rider. 02.
So yeah, it's only through purely this toy that you actually get the announcement for 01 and 02, which is kind of funny. Actually, obviously for hilarity's sakes, let's use Final Attack Raiden.
Finally Attack Rider.
Alright. That seems about right. So, obviously taking this out, sliding this out, we don't need this anymore. Assembling this thing back. Why did I do that? So, obviously, because we have them, might as well utilize these cards. So, let's see what magical stuff they do.
Kamen Rider.
Whoop whoop. Zero two.
Kamen Rider.
Same exact thing. And gosh, Grand Geo. Are we actually gonna hear this finally?
Final Kamen Rider.
What? Yep. They gave this one a final Kamen Rider sound, which is pretty weird. Like it makes sense. At the same time, though, it's kind of hilarious. Like, it's kind of hilarious they did actually give a sound out like that. But, why did I throw it there? DN driver, it's all the same stuff, basically.
Final Kamen Rider.
And we'll just use 02.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah, so obviously they don't do much. But, I mean, you can't... Excuse me. You can't blame them for not being able to do much because these cards weren't programmed in at all. So... Like, Grand Geo, I would have preferred if it was, but I get that they didn't want to spoil anything. So, like... Because someone would have gotten in serious trouble if they did. Where did I throw Complete 21? So... Yeah, my thoughts overall on this set. It's pretty neat. I think, again, comparing this to the original version, it's superiorly a lot better. Because, like, the thing, like, overall, this one's not like, you know, the Neo Deca driver or the Neo DN driver where it actually improves on a lot of things. Because basically all the improvements this one has is mostly kind of like CSM specifications, and I'm pretty sure this is what the CSM version borrowed from, because the thing is that surprisingly the sounds are like overlapping, which, yeah, that's kind of annoying, but I mean, like, again, you can like get rid of that clicking sound, for example, with like 01 through video or audio editing, if you're good enough for that. Other than that, you know, like, at least there's a toy that has the announcements for these 3 cards. Because again, it's just like, we can do the rest of it with an audio editing. It's just that, you know, like, yeah, it sucks that they're not present within the devices, but again, it's like, you can't really blame them for that. I just appreciate that they at least went through the effort to make the cards, just because it's like, you wouldn't have appreciated them, or not appreciated, you wouldn't have like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, not appreciate, but like, you wouldn't have like assumed they would have, especially because these cards, again, weren't even used at all. They were only like seen on a cape, barely, and I think 02 is on the helmet, right? Or Grand Geo. Yeah, so 02 is on the helmet, Grand Geo's on the chest. So, yeah, so these 2 you saw prominently, but this one's on a cape. So, overall, like, it's a pretty nice set. And the thing is that, obviously, as I brought up, hopefully, in the introduction, or in the packaging, because I didn't film that portion yet, this did get a US release, so I think that's how I recommend you to pick it up, just because it's really, like, affordable to, you know, it's really affordable, because I think it's about $40, because I guess because of this buckle piece specifically, because I guess, like, this thing is 32 by itself, this thing is like another $6, and then like these cards are like $8 about, so it's just like, you know, I think this is a really nice set. And again, I just recommend you guys just pick up the set. Like, I hate sets, but I mean, if this is the only way that we're gonna get, like, if this is the only way we can have like a reasonable US release of the Deca driver and this set, just go for it. It's kind of like, I don't know. Again, you don't have to go for the US release if you don't want to support Team Rider for like reasonable reasons and such. I don't know how much this is within like Mandarake and such. I think it is about like $40 and such, but this is way too long. Just pick it up if you have a Deca driver, because if you can definitely have fun with it with just these 2 cards, but then like you can't do anything with these, because I forgot to bring up the fact that the thing that I think is disappointing about this is that they got rid of the Kamen Rider card functionality, because when you insert a Kamen Rider card, it doesn't do anything. And also about the fact that they got rid of the phone mode. I kind of wish they kept the phone mode, but happily CSM kept it. This is Power, and I'll leave you people. This is too long.